guest speaker for today, happy to be joined by Damien Webb, who's a partner at RSM Restructuring, and himself is a retail restructuring expert. We also have David Fox, who is our co-head of UK Retail Agency and works across a national team of 50 in London and 5 regional offices in all aspects of the retail property sector. We also have Lloyd Entwistle, who's a director in our retail agency and development team. Lloyd is focused primarily on repurposing retail assets, which we'll look at in a few minutes' time. We have Matt Thompson, who heads our retail strategy team. He specialises in data analytics, consumer insight, and real estate strategy.
So I think looking ahead, we can expect fewer, better stores. The role of the store will be to drive higher levels of engagement, attract new customers, and of course, retain existing shoppers. But I think also from an online perspective, stores will have a more important role to play in the fulfillment chain. So, and we've heard a lot recently in the press about how online brands are struggling to deliver a profitable online only platform. So I think stores play a really pivotal role in improving operational costs from that in that perspective.
There has to be a correction on 2 levels. There has to be a correction on the cost base for the retailers, and there has to be a correction and an understanding of the true fall in values of those shopping centre assets. Particularly shopping centres, you've got other factors that get drawn in, such as business rates, because if you're obviously, we've been seeing increasing vacancy rates around the country for the last 10 years. If you're a landlord, you're sitting on your empty rate costs. You've then got your service charge costs, which are eye-wateringly expensive at the moment to run because of the living wage and certain levels of coverage that you have to have within a scheme. So actually running a shopping centre as a business has become more and more of a challenge because the rent receipts have fallen, but the cost base has stayed static or increased.
If you speak to international retailers, they are stunned with our rating system and our taxation system in the UK. They just can't understand it. And when they look at it from a competitive position, they think it's completely unviable. And often you've got to try and explain it in detail to global CEOs. So it's something that has to be addressed. And they do have to look at the economic consequences of internet sales, online transactions, because fundamentally, as we alluded to, so many people work in the sector. It's important for the fabric of our society that we have people working in retail. We have high streets at work, and they do have to look at this online taxation because of the downside effects. You look at the profitability of the online businesses; it's out of kilter with the rest of society, and that's where the taxation has to move to effectively.
Oversupply of retail property as something that we've been dealing with for the last few years. This isn't a new thing. We've seen the demise of BHS through to Debenhams and lots of others in the middle over the last 3 or 4 years. And I think that councils generally have woken up to that anyway in terms of planning and been much more open to changes of use and converting retail space into other uses. The issue invariably is time and resource within councils and the speed in which they can deal with these applications for changes of use. I think the old sort of protection of retail on the high street. We used to have these policies where 75% of retail frontage had to be A1. Even trying to get a restaurant in 10 years ago was an absolute nightmare. I think that has changed significantly in the last decade anyway. And we haven't got councils saying, well, this has been a department store forever, so it has to be a department store. We've had a number of projects we've worked on recently where we've converted retail buildings or department stores to a hotel or resi, and there's zero retail in it going forward. And that's what's got to happen because there is a significant oversupply. One thing is, I think that with these changes, I think councils will have to retain control because, it's very easy for the government to say, well, we'll just let the market dictate and just get on with it. But I think we need an element of control, and that's what the planning system's for, to curate the town centres and city centres that we're dealing with, and have a strategy in place.
Change does breed opportunity, and we are seeing perhaps a 10-year change happening in a year. And I mean, retail's always been considered an art rather than a science, but I think Matt has confirmed to us that I think the science is becoming ever more important, and I think that will be leading a lot of the change. So that's my closing thought. There's more information on this on Colliers' website and on the TMA website, and there will be a recording this for those that missed some of it. So thank you all the attendees. We were well over 100 at various times, so really appreciate all of your attention and for dialing in.